Welcome to our Hong Kong Brief Show. Today, we're diving into some fascinating stories. First up, Saoirse Ronan and Jack Lowden, who co-starred in Mary Queen of Scots, have taken their on-screen romance off-screen by tying the knot in a private ceremony in Edinburgh. Lowden, who's also been nominated for an Emmy, is set to return to our screens soon in the fourth season of Slow Horses. This power couple also runs their own production company, Arcade Pictures, and we can't wait to see what they create together next. Next, let's talk about Jessica Chastain and her husband, Gianluca Passi di Prepasolo. This Italian noble, who works for Moncler, met Chastain at an Armani fashion show. The couple, who have 2 children, were recently spotted at a Ralph Lauren event in Paris. Passi di Prepasolo, a count from one of Italy's noblest families, continues to use his title despite the Italian government no longer recognizing aristocracy. Finally, Armie Hammer's mother, Drew Hammer, has just released a tell-all memoir titled Hammered. In her book, she defends her son against allegations of abuse and sexual assault, while acknowledging his moral failings. Drew also discusses the impact of these allegations on their family's wealth and Hammer's career. Her memoir comes at a time when Armie has made a comeback on Instagram, sharing his side of the story. Please stay tuned for more detailed coverage. South China Morning Post. It's a royal wedding. Mary Queen of Scots stars Saoirse Ronan and Jack Lowden, who played Mary Stuart and her second husband, Henry Darnley, respectively, are officially married. According to People, the Oscar-nominated actress tied the knot with her longtime partner in a private ceremony, fittingly in Edinburgh, Scotland, in the presence of very close friends, all of whom were sworn to secrecy, the Irish Independent reports. Meanwhile, Lowden has more reasons to celebrate. The 34-year-old was recently added to the Scottish Parliament's Festival of Politics, and his show Slow Horses bagged 9 Emmy nominations, with Lowden himself getting a nod in the Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Drama category for playing River Cartwright. The 4th season of Slow Horses returns to our screens on September 4th. Lowden grew up in a village in the Scottish borders, and his family didn't have a theatre background or even interest in acting. Instead, he joined his little brother for ballet lessons. This little brother grew up to be Callum Lowden, principal dancer at the Royal Swedish Ballet. The older Lowden quickly realized that his talent wasn't in ballet and decided to try words instead, and that's how his tryst with theatre began. He got his first job at 19 playing Cammy in Black Watch at the National Theatre of Scotland. He went on to graduate from the Scottish Royal Academy of Music and Drama. Lowden is known for playing some incredibly dark and complex characters. However, his approach to such characters doesn't follow the method. In an interview with the Gentleman's Journal, the Dunkirk actor revealed, "I don't find that I carry the characters around with me. Because I've always gotten off on being one person one minute and another person the next." After acting with Ronan for the first time in Mary Queen of Scots, Lowden was all praises about his then-future wife. During an interview with Bild, he said, "The woman is a force of nature on and off screen, and utterly fearless and a brilliant leader. It's just constantly amazing to me, not just her work, but how she is on a set is amazing." The new Mrs., who at 30 is 4 years younger than her hubby, has also spoken fondly of him. She told People in 2022, "I completely trust his eye. I think that really helps, having someone that you really trust. And he's a sort of typical Scot, where if there's a problem, he's the first one to try and solve it." The newlywed couple have reportedly been going steady for a few years now, but have kept their relationship private until recently. On the professional front, however, they have been prolific collaborators. In 2019, the couple co-founded the independent production company Arcade Pictures alongside Dominic Norris and Brock Media, and produced the upcoming film The Outrun, starring Ronan and based on Amy Liptrott's memoir of the same name. While both actors have since stepped down from their roles in the company, Variety reports that they will continue looking for more passion projects to develop together in the future. Their next passion, though, is undoubtedly embarking on a happy married life together. South China Morning Post. From Ariana Grande to Tom Cruise, celebs have been showing up to support their country's teams at the Paris 2024 Olympics so far. Jessica Chastain brought her rarely seen children to watch Simone Biles lead Team USA at the gymnastics qualifiers, per E! News. The Oscar-winning actress was also seen attending a Ralph Lauren event at Ralph's restaurant in the French capital on July 27, where she posed alongside her husband Gianluca Passi di Prepasolo, actress Nina Dobrev, and American former snowboarder and skateboarder Shaun White. Chastain's husband may already be familiar to some, since he stood by her side at numerous events over the years. And while he's not a Hollywood type like his wife, he does have an impressive aristocratic lineage you may not know about. Passi di Prepasolo, 42, works in high fashion. According to Harper's Bazaar, he's currently employed at Italian luxury fashion brand Moncler, and was previously a director of public relations at Armani. A 2009 Vanity Fair profile detailed that he considered Roberta Armani as his mentor, and regularly hung out with big names including George Clooney, Julia Roberts, Katie Holmes, Tom Cruise, and Leonardo DiCaprio. According to People, he is part of the Passi di Prepasolo family, which is one of Italy's most noble broods, with a history dating back to the year 973. Per the source, the family still use their Count and Countess titles, even though the government no longer recognizes Italian aristocracy in the country. Not that it matters, apparently, as he told Vanity Fair in 2009, it's not the title that's important, you have to be a count inside yourself. He also runs a Prosecco business called File, per Business Insider. We grew up surrounded by Prosecco, he told the outlet. The harvest was a very specific time of year for us. Every year, we would do the harvest with our parents and grandparents, and at the end, there was a big celebratory lunch and dinner with all of our family and friends. That was where I had my first Prosecco tasting. The Interstellar actress and her beau-to-be met in January 2012 after they both attended the Giorgio Armani Prive Haute Couture Spring-Summer 2012 fashion show. The day that Gianluca and I met was the day that I got nominated for an Oscar, the Help actress shared in an appearance on Live with Kelly and Ryan. It's like, probably the best day I ever had, she added. Per People, the lovebirds tied the knot in 2017, after 5 years of dating. The nuptials reportedly took place at the Passi di Prepasolo family estate Villa Tiepolo Passi, which is about an hour from Venice. In 2018, Chastain told the Wall Street Journal that she hadn't initially planned on getting married, but things changed after meeting the Italian noble. He knew that marriage wasn't something I was interested in, she said in the interview. And then as we got to know each other, the idea of marriage shifted for me. There are some things worth celebrating, and he's worth celebrating. The duo share 2 children, Giulietta, 6, and Augustus, 4, and have largely kept their family out of the public eye so far, per E! News. South China Morning Post. Armie Hammer's mom has released a tell-all memoir defending her son after he was accused of abuse and sexual assault by previous partners, leading to his career downfall in 2021. After an investigation, no charges were made against the actor, per the BBC. I call it the perfect storm, Drew told the Daily Mail last week. Every day, more and more articles were published. Obviously, I am his mother. I would never say that Armie did everything right, because he didn't. Morally, he was wrong. But I do know my son was not out eating people. That I know. And Armie did not rape anybody. I knew that he was not morally right, but that was insanity. Her book, Hammered, was released on July 30. The Call Me By Your Name actor, 37, has begun to take more interviews lately, including one appearance on Piers Morgan Uncensored in July, where he addressed the allegations, noting that different people have different sexual fantasies. The 62-year-old hails from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and is a graduate of Oklahoma State University, according to her bio on Oral Roberts University. Drew was married to her husband Michael Armand Hammer from 1985 to 2012. They share 2 sons, Army and Victor Hammer. According to her memoir's description on Amazon, she opens up about the emotional pain she endured through a difficult divorce and how she came through it as a more faith-filled person. Michael died of cancer in November 2022 at the age of 67, per Variety. Thanks to Michael's grandfather, the oil tycoon, philanthropist and art collector Armand Hammer, who died in 1990, the Hammer family were heirs to a vast fortune. According to Vanity Fair, the tycoon was worth around $180 million when he died, but after a battle for the estate, the family were only left with around $40 million. What's more, Armie Hammer's lucrative Hollywood income was cut off after losing several projects as a result of the allegations made against him. Nearly 3 years after his marriage to Elizabeth Chambers failed and multiple women came forward to accuse him of violent actions towards them, Hammer, 37, made a comeback of sorts in 2023 by returning to Instagram. In June 2024, he opened up about how the accusations led to his career death. "It killed me. It killed my ego. It killed all the people around me that I thought were my friends that weren't," he said on the Painful Lessons podcast. "All of those people in a flash went away, but the buildings were still standing. I'm still here. I still have my health, and I'm really grateful for that." Telegraph. Reverend Matthew Firth, the Anglican priest who exposed the practice of fake church baptisms for asylum seekers, is now running for the position of Oxford University Chancellor. Firth revealed that the Church of England had been complicit in a conveyor belt of baptisms to help migrants stay in the UK, a practice allegedly known to senior church officials who chose to ignore it. His candidacy for the chancellorship is positioned as a stand against woke and establishment ideologies, emphasizing values of truth, unity, beauty, and goodness. Firth's announcement comes amidst a competitive race involving notable figures such as former Tory leader Lord Hague and Lord Mandelson. His campaign promises to uphold these values at Oxford, challenging any deviations from them and advocating for freedom of speech and academic inquiry. South China Morning Post. China's tourism sector is experiencing a resurgence, driven by policies like the reinstatement of the 144-hour free transit visa and visa-free travel for several countries. The first half of the year saw a 152.7% increase in foreign visitors, with visa-free entries accounting for over half of these trips. Despite this, tourist numbers have not yet returned to pre-COVID levels. To further boost tourism, China needs to address issues such as its restrictive internet policies and the lack of a globally recognized online payment system. Enhancing accessibility and convenience for foreign tourists, improving interactions between Chinese citizens and international visitors, and facilitating outbound travel for Chinese nationals are key steps. The goal is to reshape global perceptions of China and strengthen its soft power through meaningful cultural exchanges. The Sydney Morning Herald. Japan is witnessing a record influx of tourists, drawn by the allure of its cultural heritage and a favorable exchange rate. In Tokyo, the Sensoji Temple is bustling with visitors, many of whom are taking advantage of the historically low yen. While this tourism boom is beneficial for businesses, it is straining local resources and patience, particularly in sacred and environmentally sensitive areas. Measures such as visitor caps and two-tiered pricing systems are being implemented to manage the crowds. In Kyoto, the influx of tourists is disrupting local life, leading to restrictions in areas like the Gion Geisha district. Despite these challenges, tourism is vital for Japan's economy, with Prime Minister Fumio Kishida aiming to attract 60 million travelers by 2030. For many locals, the increased tourism brings economic benefits, though it also necessitates adjustments to preserve their way of life. Yahoo US, Ryan Salami, once a central figure in the rise and fall of FTX, has been sentenced to 7.5 years in prison for his involvement in the cryptocurrency fraud orchestrated by Sam Bankman-Fried. As he awaits his incarceration, Salami has turned to social media, particularly X, formerly Twitter, to voice his opinions on politics and crypto regulation while engaging with critics. Despite his legal troubles, Salami remains a staunch advocate for cryptocurrency and believes that only the Republican Party can foster a crypto-friendly future in America. He often defends his actions and criticizes Bankman-Fried for mismanaging FTX and Alameda Research, leading to their collapse. Salami's posts reveal his regret for following legal advice that led to his downfall and his frustration with the legal system. He has also accused a key witness in Bankman-Fried's trial of lying on the stand, further complicating the narrative surrounding his role in the scandal. South China Morning Post, Hong Kong's chief executive John Lee Ka-chiu has announced plans to celebrate the city's Olympic athletes at his official residence upon their return from the Paris Games. Praising their determination, perseverance, and sportsmanship, Lee emphasized that the athletes have become heroes in the hearts of Hong Kong people. The celebrations come in the wake of historic achievements, including Chung Ka-long's successful defense of his Olympic foil title and Vivian Kong Man-Wai's gold medal in épée, marking the city's first gold of the Games. Swimming star Siobhan Haughey also added to the medal tally with 2 bronze medals in freestyle events. The government plans to expedite the construction of a new sports center to support fencing training and competitions, reflecting the city's commitment to nurturing its athletic talent. The Kai Tak Sports Park will also host a large-scale outdoor LED lighting exhibition to honor the athletes' accomplishments. Nikkei Asia, Japan's food, agricultural, forestry, and fishery product exports experienced a decline in the first half of the year for the first time in 4 years, driven by a significant drop in shipments to China. The Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries reported a 1.8% decrease, amounting to 701.3 billion yen. Exports to the U.S. saw a notable increase, potentially positioning it as Japan's top export destination for the first time since 2004. However, exports to China and Hong Kong fell sharply, with China's ban on Japanese seafood following the release of treated wastewater from the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant causing a drastic reduction in marine product exports. Despite these challenges, exports to other regions, including South Korea, Southeast Asia, and the European Union, showed strong growth. The Japanese government continues to aim for significant export growth by 2025 and 2030, although the current economic conditions and exchange rates present uncertainties. South China Morning Post. Anna Pao Pui-hing, daughter of the late shipping tycoon Sir Pao Yue-kong, shared her insights from a letter written by President Xi Jinping, urging Hong Kongers to avoid complacency and better equip themselves to face global challenges. Xi's letter, addressed to Hong Kong entrepreneurs with ties to Ningbo, emphasized the importance of contributing to China's modernization. Pao highlighted the need for humility and learning from China's rapid development. She stressed that Hong Kong's youth should improve their skills in areas like artificial intelligence and robotics to remain competitive. Pao recalled her father's interactions with late Chinese leader Deng Xiaoping, noting the historical significance of their efforts to support China's growth. The letter coincided with the 40th anniversary of Deng's call to mobilize Ningbo-born entrepreneurs to develop the port city, reflecting a long-standing bond between Hong Kong and the mainland. South China Morning Post. A 52-year-old Hong Kong man, Andy Che Ka Fai, drowned off Padong Beach in Phuket, Thailand, highlighting a tragic trend of tourist deaths at the country's beaches. Che and his 15-year-old son were swimming when strong waves separated them, leading to Che's distress. Lifeguards attempted to resuscitate him before he was rushed to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The incident underscores the dangers of Phuket's beaches, which use a three-colored flag warning system to indicate water conditions. This tragic event occurred on the same day a 58-year-old Kazakh national and a 37-year-old South Korean national also drowned in separate incidents in Phuket. Hong Kong's immigration department has offered support to Che's family and emphasized its 24-hour hotline for assistance. The Thai authorities have contacted the Chinese consulate in Phuket for further help. South China Morning Post. Hong Kong Chief Executive John Lee Ka-chiu announced plans to explore easing visitor entry requirements with 3 ASEAN countries following his 6-day trip to Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam. The visit resulted in 55 cooperation agreements and promoted people-to-people exchanges. Lee highlighted the need to facilitate entry for tourists and frequent visitors, mentioning that Vietnamese visitors are now eligible for multi-entry visas to Hong Kong. The city is also considering new economic trade offices in the ASEAN region. Several deals signed during the trip focused on tourism and expanding air services. However, visa hurdles remain a challenge, particularly for Vietnamese travelers. Legislator Johnny Ng Kit Chong and former Commerce Minister Frederick Ma Si-heng acknowledged the historical context of visa issues but expressed optimism for future improvements. Lee emphasized the importance of reinforcing exchanges at the government level and expanding opportunities for Hong Kong businesses. The trip also showcased Hong Kong's appeal as a global education hub, with several agreements signed by local universities. South China Morning Post. A judicial review challenging the legality of expanding the Sandton Technopole near the Hong Kong-China border may undermine investor confidence and delay the project, planners and lawmakers have warned. Social worker Editse Saiket, representing the Save Lantau Alliance, has asked the High Court to overturn the government's approval of the project, citing violations of the Environmental Impact Assessment Ordinance and lack of public consultation. The original 2021 plan covered 340 hectares, but the expansion announced in May 2023 increased it to 627 hectares, significantly altering the project's scope and environmental impact. Lawmakers expressed concerns that the judicial review could postpone development and deter potential investors in the northern metropolis, which includes the Technopole. They emphasized the importance of procedural justice and public consultation, arguing that these steps are crucial to avoid disputes and ensure compliance with environmental regulations. South China Morning Post. The average annual salary for university graduates in Hong Kong increased by 3.6% to 314,000 Hong Kong dollars, $40,213 US, last year, the smallest rise since 2021. Graduates from the University of Hong Kong, HKU, earned the highest average salary of 385,000 Hong Kong dollars, with an unemployment rate of just 1.2%. The University Grants Committee's report revealed that while the average salary increase was modest compared to previous years, it still highlighted disparities among institutions and fields of study. Graduates in medicine, dentistry, and healthcare earned the most, averaging 506,000 Hong Kong dollars annually, while arts and humanities graduates earned the least at 269,000 Hong Kong dollars. Recruitment expert Armstrong Lee attributed the modest salary growth to a sluggish business environment, particularly in key sectors like retail, real estate, and finance, which are still recovering from the pandemic's impact. Despite the economic challenges, HKU reported full employment for its graduates for the 18th consecutive year, with most securing jobs in commerce, industry, and civil service roles. South China Morning Post. Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh was buried in Qatar following his assassination in Tehran, with vows of intensified resistance against Israel from senior Hamas officials and mourners. Haniyeh's death, attributed to an Israeli missile strike, has heightened tensions as the Gaza conflict with Israel approaches its 11th month. The funeral in Lusail saw attendance from high-ranking Hamas members and Qatar's Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. Hamas officials declared that Haniyeh's death would galvanize their cause, with Khalid Meshal expected to succeed him. The assassination is part of a broader pattern of targeted killings of Hamas and Hezbollah leaders, which has expanded the conflict's reach across the Middle East. U.S. President Joe Biden criticized the killing, suggesting it hindered peace efforts led by Qatar, Egypt, and the U.S. Haniyeh, known for his diplomatic role within Hamas, had been a key figure in the group's international outreach, despite being seen by some as an impediment to peace negotiations. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.